Professional athletes are in many ways our culture's holy men. They give themselves over to a pursuit, endure great privation and pain to actualize themselves at it, and enjoy a relationship to perfection that we admire, reward, and love to watch, even though we have no desire to walk that road ourselves. In other words, they do it for us, sacrifice themselves for our, we imagine, redemption. David Foster Wallace. What is a day in the life of a bodybuilder really like? Since 2004, I have been attempting to strip away the hype and misinformation to reveal the gritty day-to-day existence of those who participate in this most demanding of sports. I have been fascinated by the extreme devotion and dedication that bodybuilders must have in order to excel. In my documentaries, I have strived to find subjects who exemplify the true nature of the sport, can articulate their thoughts about it, and are brave enough to show the world the difficulties as well as the triumphs. No one fits that bill better than Kai Greene. For this video series and accompanying magazine article, a still photographer and I followed Kai through his daily routine for several days to show as much as possible what life is like, not only for the professional bodybuilder at the top of his game, but also for the beginner, the amateur, and frankly for anyone who wants to succeed in transforming their body and pushing it beyond its natural limits.
In the beginning and over the years, I never spent a tremendous amount of time sorting out minutia details like sodium. Those are details that come later on. Those star moments that fill the highlight reels and you know, leave an audience in awe to watch. Those seconds are built on thousands and thousands and thousands of hours that a lot of people wouldn't think are worth adding to a highlight reel.
This is a day in the life of a bodybuilder.
Hey, what's your day like? It's not very interesting when you consider he's on a piece of cardio equipment for 2 hours a day. He spends another hour or two cooking. You know, he packs his food, another 2 hours and commute to and from the gym. Well, damn, if you train twice a day or three, how does that start to look? A lot of times the day in the life of opportunities bring a lot of anxiety for me because there's a lot of this expectation a lot of times of, well, you're supposed to be this accomplished, celebrated bodybuilder, and, you know, why don't you have what Jay has? Why don't you, you know, live like Phil Heath does? Why you wear a hoodie all the fucking time? You know, what's that thing on your face? You know, where are you from? You know, and then in order to try to explain that, you almost end up looking like you're coming from another planet.
Kai Greene is unique among today's stars of bodybuilding. He rejects the usual trappings of success and prefers to live simply, still living and working in the downtrodden Brooklyn neighborhood he has known for most of his life. When Flex magazine proposed this Day in the Life video series, Kai was adamant about not concentrating on the flash and rewards of the sport, which can be elusive and few for most, but rather on the daily existence that got him to this place.
If the world only got a chance to see you on stage receiving top honors before they get a chance to see this, or you sleeping on someone's couch, just scraping pennies together so you could afford to train 6 hours a day, some bouncing gig or some stripping hustle or something like that, it becomes very difficult to really understand the moment of triumph when it comes.
In these videos, you won't be seeing any fancy sports cars or marbling chrome kitchens. No personal deep tissue masseuse or highly paid nutritionist. Instead, you will see what has been a day in the life for Kai Greene for 20 years, and to a certain extent still is. And it all starts here, in a rundown dollar store on Flatbush Avenue.
a critical tool. Getting ahead in this game of preparation is Tupperware. It is critical to get up in the morning early or go to bed a little bit later at night and cook your food and pack it. A lot of bodybuilders go off track right here. So what I'm going to do today is show you this is how it's done. So you get yourself some Tupperware. Doesn't have to be really flashy.
Even though Kai's success has enabled him to move into a townhouse in a nicer area nearby, he instead takes us back to the apartment in the projects that he still keeps. Strewn with the remnants of the recent move and cluttered with his artwork and bodybuilding mementos, this was Kai's home base for many years as he struggled to survive.
First thing I would do for years would be get up in the morning and follow some basic disciplines that just end up becoming a habit. And as a result of becoming a habit, you end up feeling like your day isn't complete without doing these things. In the beginning and over the years, I never spent a tremendous amount of time sorting out minutia details like sodium. Those are details that come later on. Is it 10 grams of protein more or 10 grams of protein less? Who cares? Just get started. I can take a bag of a frozen vegetable. It can be string beans, broccoli, throw it in the microwave.
As Kai expounds on the fundamentals of bodybuilding, the temperature in that cramped kitchen keeps rising and rising. By my estimate, after 20 minutes, it's at least 120 degrees in there. I, in my light t-shirt, am soon drenched in sweat, yet Kai in his hoodie and knit cap seems unfazed by the sauna.
I have to ask why you're running the other burners at the same time. Just to do some water today? Water weight?
I'm very comfortable in a very warm environment. I used to be in here doing cardio with the oven on, my sweet potatoes cooking, all the burners on the stove on, place so hot, I think the devil was sitting over there talking to you. Like, do you really want to do this cardio? Sweat just pouring. The audience would never see that. They'll see you on stage the day of the competition, though, and see you, you know, receiving top honors, and then say, I want to do that. I want to be that guy. And that's why I think it's so important to show this like this, because when I grew up and I looked at the magazines and I saw this stuff, I saw the celebrated athletes of the day with the big contracts, and I saw that. I saw them in these nice kitchens, you know, able to cook each meal fresh, you know, in their more comfortable and relaxed, calm, kind of explain these things to the camera. And I grew up thinking that picture was the picture. And I always wanted that picture. But I recognize that now, being on the other side of that, wow, you know, this is the work, though, that will produce the desired end result. It's, you know, being able to climb in the trenches now when it's not convenient, it's not comfortable, when the kitchen isn't very beautiful yet, you know. But recognizing that it's very, very important to get these meals and have them with you. Once you cook these meals and you pack them up, now when you leave the house, you have now eliminated the possibility of being stuck without your meal and having to go 2, 3, 4, 6 hours before eating again. There's a certain amount of work that we really do have to take on ourselves and not expect for someone to do for you the best coaches, the best supplement company like Muscle Meds, the best product you can ever have available to you will be of little resource to you if you're not able to do what work is required of you when it's time to do it. All right, sprinkle some broccoli in here, 3 ounces there. Only takes about 2 or 3 minutes in the microwave. Your cold vegetables, you know, they can be string beans, they can be asparagus, broccoli. I can put another 4 ounces of chicken breast in here. With this, I can add a half a sweet potato. Sweet potato I can have either in the oven now, baking, or I can have in my microwave for 9 minutes. I can put 4 sweet potatoes in the microwave. Give them 9 minutes, depending on how big they are, but we don't have to get lost in minutia. Real life, in the trenches bodybuilding means that you have to be inventive. You have to be a problem solver. You have to be able to troubleshoot, because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to stay on target with your goal. Your goals, your dreams are important to you. Your mother may love you, but she doesn't care whether or not your arms are 24 inches. She's still going to love you. Well, maybe most moms, but, But your dream of having your arms over 20 inches is your dream. So it's up to you to cultivate that, to protect it, to nurture it. So it's your responsibility to come up with ways to find out how you can eat every 2.5 hours without incident. All the beginners, all the real, fledgling amateurs that have grand expectations of where they'd like to go in the sport, man, you gotta develop your tools. You gotta develop the use and awareness of your instrument. You gotta develop these skills. Here, I'm not talking about focusing on how many grams of protein as much as or how many grams of carbs, or how many grams of fat. What I'm focusing on here, though, is the development of character, which speaks to your ability to follow through and start to string together days of efficient action on a very basic level in order to be able to have your food with you every day, all day, so you are able to eat on time. It keeps you and allows you to stay in an anabolic state. Now you start talking about the things that scientifically can support cellular growth and muscle repair. But if you are still working without the strength of character yet, without the ability to follow through, then all that complex conversation about those sciences will mean very, very little, will mean nothing to you if you still are not able to get up, cook your meals, pack them, have them with you, and follow through with eating them every 2.5 to 3 hours. And it was these tools that allowed me to turn around and be ready when the next level of my health came, when the next mentorship that would come along and say, hey, look, wow, you've got some real talent. I want to invest in you. I want to put some time in helping you cultivate your stuff. They didn't come because you were just walking around aimlessly looking for someone to help you. There's work you got to do on your own, and you've got to be willing to bust your ass and get it done. Not have the excuses about, well, I can't because I don't know how to cook, or I can't because I'm not a nutritionist. I gotta wait till I can save up money to pay a nutritionist, and then I'll turn pro. No, you do the things that you can do to the best of your ability. But I'm just saying this: if you got big dreams and you want to do something really big, something that's going to demand your best and all of that stuff, and you're expecting to work with, some of the giant names in the bodybuilding industry. Hey, I got big dreams. I want to be Mr. Olympia one day. I want to compete in the Arnold Classic. You know what? I'll start and I'll just go get one of them big names like George Farah or Henny Rombot or Chad Nichols. I'll get Dave Palumbo, one of those guys to help me. They'll do my diet, and life will be great after that. Charles Glass. They'll make me a champion. You got a sad thing coming. The idea of developing yourself and gaining mastery of these skills, you know, your discipline, time management, you know, those things are critical. Without those in place, even the great supplement company with the great, powerful supplement will be of little support to you without some basic fundamentals that are required of you to already have possession of. And that's the truth. No one should have to stand over you all day, every day. Did you eat? What time's your next meal? Hey man, are you on top of your schedule? Are you staying true to your path? Because at the end of the day, it's just not that important to everybody else. And if it's more important to other people than it is you, then there's a large part of your better potential that will not be tapped. Now, funny thing about Tupperware, even if you get like really expensive Tupperware, one thing that I've learned is it always, give it enough time, it will always leak. Something will happen. Whether it's the heat in the bag, the jolting, your bag got bumped when you put it in the trunk of your car, the thing got tipped upside down, the homeless man kicked you and knocked all over the platform on the train. The possibility is very large that it will always open. So, I put my stuff in garbage bags. Tie my food up in a garbage bag before putting it in my bag. One, it'll help you be able to save a lot of the food bags you have. I don't know if you've never done this before. What happens is with a food bag, food spills in them, sometimes condensation on the inside of the bag. They'll produce mold and they fall apart. It can become very not nice in there, particularly if you're not putting your stuff in garbage bags and plastic bags and trying to reinforce them to stop the seepage, because eventually stuff just does seep, even the really, really, really good Tupperware.
Armed with his nutrition for the day, we head out.
When I was a kid, they used to tell you how to get in the elevator, you know, when to get on the elevator and when not to get on the elevator. You know, some people you're not supposed to get on the elevator with, you know, so you need to develop a very quick, very good sense of judgment and character. Look, oh no, I'll wait for the next one. But I get in the elevator, I look across and I see the image that I've grown into. That would have been the image as a boy I would have been told not to get on the elevator with. Because now you're growing up and you see these changes physically in the mirror every day. And at some point, you know, you have to know that the very thing that you've been taught to be afraid of or to have disdain for, you've now grown into. You look like.
Despite his intimidating look, on these streets, this gentle hulk of a man with his trademark red hoodie is a familiar sight, and he can't walk very far without being greeted by a fan or a friend.
You're a master.
Nah, you getting it. You're getting it done. Good dude. All right now.
As we drive to our next stop, we are reminded of an important lesson, which just happens to be the cornerstone of Kai's philosophy. This bodybuilder's day in the life has just begun. Coming up, Kai teaches us a lesson in humility.
Every now and then you need a tweak. A great bodybuilder would always look for what he can improve on.
And no bodybuilder's day is complete without a trip to the gym. Later, we discover the true meaning of hardcore. On Saturday afternoons in Brooklyn, an assortment of bodybuilders and figure competitors gather for a posing class. Ian Mercer was a bodybuilder in the 1960s and is now a legendary expert on the fine art of posing. His class is an exhausting 2 hours of nothing but turning, flexing, turning, and flexing. He runs his students through the mandatory poses again and again, preparing them for the judges' scrutiny.
quads. Flex them quads.
Ian walks the line like a drill sergeant, making minor and sometimes not so minor adjustments.
Keep it tight. Keep everything tight. Hold tight. Hold your head up. Open your shoulders. That's it. Tighten that leg now. There we go. Hold it tight. Coming down the line. Hold. 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 Hold it. Set it. Set it. Lock it. Hold. 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 Tight. Tight. Kick it out. There we go. Hold tight. Hold it. Hold tight. Hold it. Spike it. Pop it. Pull it out. And conquer 3. 1.
Among this group of hopefuls are those who have already competed in bodybuilding contests, standing alongside those who are anticipating stepping on stage for the first time. Also here most Saturdays is the 2-time Arnold Classic winner and Mr. Olympia contender, Kai Greene.
How's it feel the second time around? I mean, the first, nothing can ever replace the first time, as we all know. How's it now?
What does it feel like? It feels amazing. And I encourage anyone out there who ever had an idea, a thought about something that they'd like to accomplish, or they'd like to, but they know it would demand the best of their efforts and the most of their concentration and everything that they had inside of them in order to get there and make it happen. I encourage you to do it. And when you do, then you'll know exactly how I feel right now.
Very good. It would be tempting for a bodybuilder of Kai's stature to think that he has arrived and that he has learned all he needs to know about his sport. It's easy to let the accolades and the glare of the spotlight cause you to forget the work that has gotten you here and the work that yet needs to be done. Kai knows better.
Those star moments that, you know, fill the highlight reels and, you know, leave an audience in awe to watch. Oh, wow, play that again. I want to see that. Those seconds are built on thousands and thousands and thousands of hours that a lot of people wouldn't think are worth, you know, adding to a highlight reel. Basic fundamentals being applied over and over and over and over again. Getting up a certain time, doing certain things, cooking your meals, going to, you know, do your cardio, walking through the disciplines, keeping the checklist, and staying on top of them. Those are the things that, you know, when you string them together, start to create a day of efficient action. The more likely you are to string those days of efficient action together, the more likely it will be that you can set up your own success.
So far in this day in the life, Kai has done his cardio early in the morning, shopped for food, cooked and packed it. These are the building blocks of any successful bodybuilder's daily routine and cannot be skipped over or ignored. These fundamentals seem simple, and Kai can sound repetitive when asked to talk about it, but it is this relentless, repetitive simplicity which is the foundation of bodybuilding and can sometimes be its most difficult aspect. Some of Kai's duties that are not a part of the lives of most practicing bodybuilders at the amateur level are the obligations to his various sponsors. Personal appearances, guest posing, photo and video shoots like this one for the Train with Kai instructional series are all things that can interrupt the schedule of day-to-day activity. And yet, despite all of this, those fundamentals of bodybuilding must continue to take precedence. One of those fundamentals is posing, which brings us here to a Saturday afternoon posing class that Greene attends once a week. Though this is not a daily thing, Kai feels that it is an indispensable part of his weekly routine.
Everything tight. Good. Relax. Catch yourself. Take a deep breath. To me, posing is the end of all the hard work and all the dieting and everything. It is the walk that you do to get your degree. I look at it like this. You're in school, training every day. You're in school, you're doing your work. Now you go to the show. That's your graduation ceremony. Your posing is your walk to get your diploma. Bring it closer to your body. Right, hold tight, lock it, pull it down, and set it. Let's go, right, all the way down and then set it. Hit it, come on.
Even as a teenager, Kai was an excellent poser, breaking new ground by incorporating hip-hop moves into his routine. In 2007, Kai exploded onto the scene with his now famous Dirty Diana routine, and has since taken posing in a new direction. Some people love it, some people hate it, but no one can deny that Kai is anything but an expert. And yet he humbles himself once a week and continues to learn from his original teacher.
Hold it, hold, pull it back to me. Every now and then you need a tweak. See, bodybuilding is subjective. A good bodybuilder or a great bodybuilder will always look for what he can improve on. Nobody's perfect. You can always learn a little something. You might forget something. And somebody can see something that you forget and tell you, look, hey, you forget how to hit this. You got to do it back then. And then you remember, oh yeah, this is how I used to do it before. And you go back to old school and it works. Sit on their hips. Ready? Hands behind your head. Abdominals and thighs. Leg of your choice. Sit on that leg. Sit back, crunch, and blow it out. Tighten your abs. Blow it out. Blow it out. Squeeze them quads. Crunch. Hold. Hamstrings. There we go. Hold your head up. Hold tight. Hold. Lift it up. There we go. Hold it. And then you set it. There we go. Hold it. Hold tight. Head up. Hold it. The most muscular. I got to see every muscle. Squeeze. Legs. Traps. Chest. Abs. Arms. Your quad is the most important thing here too. Tighten them up. Squeeze them. Hold tight. Hold tight. Good. Relax. Stand up. Thank you.
Though Kai is naturally a shy person, he nevertheless spends some time as the center of attention once the session is over. He's used to it, of course, but he's always sure to maintain his eating schedule. The next stop in our day in the life is the gym. As we drive, the exhaustion of the bodybuilding lifestyle begins to show, and Kai quietly nods off. It's got to be tough moving 275 or more pounds of muscle around all day. And it's not over yet. Kai is very fortunate that by this point in his career, he can pick and choose where he trains. Most days, he works out at the mecca of bodybuilding on the East Coast, Powerhouse Gym. Run by husband and wife bodybuilding legends Bev Francis and Steve Weinberger, at Powerhouse Gym, you can never be sure which star of the sport you may run into. And fans of Kai know that he is always willing to take some time to say hello or take a picture. This gym has been the location of many now famous video and photo shoots over the years. Chances are, if the photos in a bodybuilding or fitness magazine article were shot on the East Coast, they were shot here. Although those kinds of pictures are beautiful and inspirational, and an example of the best that bodybuilding has to offer, they don't really reflect what life is like in the gym every day for someone like Kai Greene. For one thing, he would never train shirtless, and in fact only reveals himself when urged to by a photographer. He always remains covered up and does not practice posing in the open areas of the gym. Many theories have been advanced to explain the reasons for Kai's ever-present hoodie, but it's really very simple and practical.
Thermogenesis, that's my secret. Nah, I just feel comfortable. I do sweat a lot though, so it's a little bit more convenient than a t-shirt. If I had a t-shirt on, I'd have to be all over the place. I'd have to be wiping stuff down. I mean, a hoodie is more absorbent.
On this particular day in the life, Kai begins his gym session not with cardio, but with a 12-minute warm-up for mind and body. He then performs a long and careful abdominal and stretching routine. His focus during this time is so strong that the photographer and I dare not interrupt him. Beginning with the documentary Overkill, I have made the observation many times that Kai seems like a monk. He lives a sparse, ascetic existence by modern standards. His deep philosophizing, the extreme dedication to his goals, his discomfort in the spotlight, and the ever-present hood all add up to give him the aura of the holy man of bodybuilding. I'm not sure he sees himself that way, but it's hard not to make the comparison, especially today.
You ever see like people chanting or Buddhists doing things with their breathing and using their breath to start to alter their mind state? I'm sure on some level, in some way, the simple 12 minutes or so before I get started on the floor training, this moment allows me the ability to kind of walk through some exercise like that. You're regulating your breathing or using it as a device to be able to suspend those thoughts for other things and try to get focused on what I'm about to do, get it done, and then try to keep moving with the continuum of my day.
As with the posing class, it is this kind of meticulous attention to detail that creates a champion. But Kai Greene's life and mindset were not always so controlled and structured. Earlier in the day, we stopped at a diner. Kai ate his prepared food, of course, and he explained to us how bodybuilding provided a very necessary catharsis for a young man in a bad situation.
Everything else was a mess. Outside into my life was a mess. Just socially inept, did not fit in, did not feel like you fit in. Anger management, getting into fights, raging against authority, not developing or cultivating relationships very well, insecure, just a whole lot of things going on. But in the gym, all of those things that were a weakness were a strength to me. I was able to summon a tremendous amount of intense energy. And be intense, just allow myself to be intense about something. It's like those other times when you're ready to explode and be angry and violent and take it, kept bottle it up. Now bring it into the gym, here in this moment, and release under the weight. I think about being strong, think about dominating, think about overcoming. And as you're thinking that, you want to act it out. It just so happens that while you're acting it out, though, you're underneath that same weight that would have crushed you if you were thinking those weak thoughts. This thing is going to crush you. And if in another mindset, maybe it would have. But, normal mindset of just being relaxed and sedate and without fight, yeah, it's going to crush me. But that moment you were ready to explode, you took it, you put it in, you bottled it up, went to the gym, put you now underneath the squat rack, or in the bench press, under the iron, okay, and release. Man.
So you're saying you're channeling anger, basically?
Every tool will help you get where you're trying to go. Once you are clear about where you want to go.
The picture that Kai paints of his young self contrasts greatly with the steady and thoughtful Kai we see today. And I get the feeling that he wants to spread the word to other young people about the benefits not only of weight training, but of mind training as well.
That's critical thinking skills that you're going to need more refined and developed as a man 10, 15 years down the line in ways that you do not see right now.
Another reality of the bodybuilding day in the life is that every day is not always a heavy day. Today, Kai concentrates on what are called the finishing exercises, in this case, the calves and forearms. This is necessary in order to create and perfect a balanced overall look. Other days, Kai lifts heavier. And in our final segment, we will see a Kai Greene leg workout that for me redefined the word hardcore.
It doesn't matter where you're at the time that you dare to dream, and it doesn't matter where you've been.
Now, 6, let's go.
Just keep dreaming and keep working.
9, let's go. 10, drive.
And the better picture that you're looking to create for yourself, it can be attained.
Let's go. Now, go. 12.
I grew up as a kid looking to the stars. Not necessarily did I understand that that information was going through a filter. When I see the photos, all I see is these photos, believing that this is my opportunity to look over the shoulder of the star, you know, in the trenches and see what they do, not realizing that this is now already gone through a filter, and the filter has been touched by the expectation or the highly idealized vision of what an editor or a person who'd been delegated the responsibility to get the great photo and have the great shoot thought would be important, and realize how that influences what I saw. You know, if the great photo shoot and the great photos in their mind was represented by hoisting these huge poundages, looking incredibly veiny and you know, over the top, exaggerated, muscular, in great condition, the message I got was that they look like this all year round, and this is what it looks like in the trenches when he goes to the gym in his neighborhood, in his location, and just goes and works out. I don't recognize that it's him on location with the great lighting, with the great coming through this filter. I couldn't recognize the filter. So in short, I would be influenced to think the same way. Every day is a sunny day. Every day the athlete's in shape and looking like he just tore out of a Flex magazine, you know. And every day, you know, he's hoisting these huge poundages. And if I am going to aspire to look and be like that, then every day for me has to be that. Not realizing that every day for even the subject is not that. And it could not be that and be still realistically possible for him to be the star that he is.
Night is descending on Brooklyn, and it's time to do legs. When we began this day-in-the-life video and photo shoot, Kai asked us what we would like to see when we got to the gym, expecting that we would want him to do a workout specifically for the camera. I told him, I don't want you to do anything special at all. In fact, I want you to ignore me completely. I want to show exactly what a real day-in-the-life workout is like for Kai Greene a little over 2 months before the Olympia. In keeping with the theme of this series, we went to a gym near the projects that Kai has trained in throughout his career. We were joined there by his current training partner, Julian Mundell, an aspiring natural bodybuilder whom Kai met after going to one of Ian's posing classes. For this shoot, I brought nothing but myself and my camera. No assistants, no lights. I gave them no direction and asked that nothing be done for the camera. What follows is as real a workout with a top-tier bodybuilding pro as you will ever see on tape. But it is not bombastic, not loud. There is very little screaming and yelling, except when absolutely necessary, and the weights used will not blow your mind. Instead, what I witnessed this day is a very precise and scientific leg routine, which nevertheless is incredibly difficult, and which I defy anyone to match rep for rep. I will outline the workout as we go along, so that if anyone is inclined to, they can try it out for themselves. But the point is that what is commonly passed off in the bodybuilding world as hardcore is simply performing for the camera. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not doubting that athletes like Branch Warren or Dana Lynn Bailey are sincere when they train on film. For many, a high energy level in the gym is a necessary component of their workout routine. I'm just saying that in my experience, I haven't seen it that way. The athletes I have worked with have been, for the most part, quiet, thoughtful men and women, even when training very hard. I think there is a misconception about what it means to be hardcore when it comes to bodybuilding. All too often, that term is used for displays that could be better described as ego lifting. Sometimes that can be inspiring, but it can be off-putting and misleading as well.
There's a lot to be said for, you know, seeing a person work at something. And when you work at something honestly, you know, when people see that and they can see that it's just pure honesty behind it, there's something about that people can get behind and support. Real people that are buying the magazines and stuff, when they open the pages of the magazine, see Ronnie Coleman, that's a lifestyle that's separate and apart from me. So we look at that and we think that's the only way it is. But in truth, you can do it wherever you are if you just really want to get it done. So recognizing the filter, I think, helps me now make a lot more sense of this journey and why it's important for me to turn around and say to the younger aspiring stars out there, hey, dude, you know, get your form right, learn how to feel, think about your mind. Your mind is driving this whole thing.
In the past, Kai has worked one-on-one very closely with his trainers. Lately, he has found that less necessary, and instead has begun to mentor other promising bodybuilders. Julian herself has undergone a startling transformation and is now taking it to the next level, preparing for her first bodybuilding show. She has been very fortunate to have found Kai to guide her, and Kai obviously sees something in her which he finds inspiring.
She's untapped potential, very, very raw, natural. We went from living almost sedentary to just deciding, hey, you know, I'm gonna start exercising, and just really started acting like it was an addiction. She became unsettled and wouldn't allow herself to accept anything else but that. Almost to a point of becoming neurotic, you know, and appearing kind of weird to her friends, but to people that knew her before.
I wanted to look good. I wanted to be the it girl. I wanted to be able to put on a bikini and feel good. And that's what made me do it. Kai's the best, man. He takes time to teach people. I'm used to going to the gym and, you know, I'm doing bicep curls at 45 pounds. And when I met Kai, and I've never done more than 10 reps. Never. When I met Kai and he said 20 reps, everything 20 reps. It made me think, can I do 20 reps? And he said, it's not about the weights.
You know, what is it? What is it that other people have that other people seemingly don't? You know, what is that? And then you'll see someone that just, hey man, every time you see them, they're lost in the work. Hey man, they can barely say hello to you because they're focused, they're getting into it. Okay. Nothing goes by. Next thing you know, they're reaping results like, wow, hey, excuse me, what did you do? They become the people you want to talk to. You almost want to engage them in a conversation in the locker room, thinking that somehow it's going to unearth for you the secret. What the hell is that, you know? And I'm convinced, you know, seeing people like that, that's what it is. You know, I want this so bad that I'm gonna do everything I can do all day, you know, to get closer and closer to making that dream a reality. Not everybody that says it with their mouth is really gonna say it with their action. You know, saying it with your mouth versus saying it with your actions are two very different things. Very, very different things. And when you say it with your actions, I'm giving everything I have to this thing. That to say it passionately is with your mouth it may feel really good at the time. I think this is therapy for a lot of people, more than most will say.
I feel good. It just feels good to know that I did this. You know, there is no easy way. There is no quick fix. You know, and a lot of people need to know that. And I'm not gonna stop. I will be the best one day. I will be. And I'm not gonna stop here. I'm not.
Julian's determination is admirable, and she's going to need plenty of it to get through this workout tonight. They move back upstairs for more of the workout. Kai insists on perfect form, complete extension, and complete contraction of the target muscle with every rep of every exercise. There will be no ego lifting here tonight. The weights used are not what is important. Julian begins to falter a bit during 6 rounds of leg extensions, but she doesn't quit, and the hardest part is yet to come. The final exercise tonight is, of course, squats. But by now, the athlete's muscles have been so taxed that there will be no need to load up the bar with photographically impressive weights. To their already tired legs, even a few plates will feel like a ton. This is where the mythology of the glistening, screaming athlete in the glossy photo shoot really crumbles and comes crashing down.
Let's go. Let's go. 17. 19, let's go. 20, beautiful, beautiful.
Those photographs of Kai, for which he has now become famous, don't even come close to the daily reality that I am witnessing here. This is a slow, methodical, precise, thoughtful, civilized workout by a modern master of muscle building. Not a crazed, animalistic iron orgy.
More than try to impress you with the thought of, wow, how much weight is he moving? Or, wow, how much cardio is that? Or, I want you to walk away with the thought that, hey man, all of those things are built on basic fundamentals. And regardless of whether or not you have access at this time or not to, bright lights, fancy cars, whether or not you even have people ready to film you today, if you work hard and you use these fundamentals with the intent to humble yourself before the discipline, you do it long enough, you too can find yourself in the same position. Success is something that you can attain, and it doesn't have to be thought to be something so foreign. I never talk about genetics. Nothing in this day is built around the wonder or not of Kai Greene's genetics. They're built around the specifics of doing certain things every day. And even when it gets difficult, if you believe that you can be successful at doing it, you have a purpose for getting these things done, then success can follow.
Let's go. Let's go. 3. Let's go. Now. 6. Let's go. Let's go. 7. Yup. Let's go. 9. Yup. Let's go. Let's go. 10. Drive. Good. Let's go. 11. 11. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Now. 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 Go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Now. 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 Go. 12.
From the outset, the purpose of this Day in the Life video series has been to show the work that it takes to be an award-winning bodybuilder, no matter how unphotogenic and mundane it might be.
Rock and roll. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. 2. Aggressive. 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 3. Let's go. 4. Knock it out. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
The more I talk about this with Kai, the more I get the impression that he is speaking to a younger version of himself, while trying to help other young bodybuilders avoid some of the disillusionment that he once had about his chosen sport, and offer them a more realistic expectation of what is truly involved.
If I were to do a video today and show you, hey man, after winning the Arnold Classic, I brought this home, or I bought this piece of real estate and I have this and I'm doing these wonderful things now, it would not allow people to see the truth. While working towards creating that possibility, the house wasn't pretty, you know, and the car wasn't even there. So if you're a person that is looking around you and seeing something that is not the picture that you want for your life, I've spent a 20-year career in bodybuilding to learn that you can change that. You can create the reality that you want. So if you believe that and you are able to take anything away from this video, I hope it would be that. You know, yes, because of a two-time Arnold Classic champion, pre-Mr. Olympia, coming to you from the projects, but not with the expectation of trying to just highlight, you know, a negative situation, but trying to highlight the fact that it doesn't matter where you're at the time that you dare to dream, and it doesn't matter where you've been at the time that you dare to dream. Just keep dreaming and keep working. You know, be honest about getting the work done, you know, and the better picture that you're looking to create for yourself, it can be attained. You can't aspire to win the show, and if you just see the show as the show that day, something separate and apart from the little each day and the little things that you do in the totality of that day that add up to an efficient day of efficient action. And stringing more days of efficient action together, ultimately you can produce the end result that you're looking for. And this is not believing in some spiritual hocus pocus and mumbo jumbo that's nonsense. No, this is recognizing the power you have in your own hand with the decisions that you make each day. You know, you work, and you work, and you're committed to something, and at times you don't even know what the hell you're committed to. It's just therapy. It's something to do that it's different from, you know, just being lost in your own not so nice thoughts. And it's an opportunity to think about something a lot nicer or to do something that's with more purpose than. So you do it, and you take your passion and you put a lot into it, and at some point you get recognized for it. But with the recognition doesn't mean that the man is not with his own demons or without his own struggles. You know, do not, if you're a beginner bodybuilder, please do not take for granted that you can just leave the house with one meal and I'll get another meal as I need while I'm out there, because yeah, I can just stop here, I can stop there, I can get. No, because in truth, you're a beginner bodybuilder. You're not a seasoned veteran. So there's certain things you can't get away with because you have not developed the discipline and the strength of character yet that are necessary. Those are skills, those are tools that are necessary that have to be developed. They're not, well, yeah, shortcut methods. You have to, I believe the beginner bodybuilder has to go through the process of cooking his meals, each one of them, cook all of them, pack them up in a Tupperware, take them with you, go through the process of having them, opening them up, eating them. It's a little bit more difficult with each one because each one has been in Tupperware longer. So it becomes more of a testament to how bad do you want it? What is your commitment? Where is your true desire? I have a friend that, has wanted to do a bodybuilding show has been talking about doing a bodybuilding show for 15 years now, and I'm convinced that the reason why he hasn't is because he's holding himself back. Why is he holding himself back? Because he doesn't, he'll start his diet, he'll get excited about it. He won't cook his food though. Every time I see him, he has no food with him. Yeah. Then he'll go and get a roti, which is a traditional West Indian style food prepared at a local West Indian style eatery. And then, like I said, 3 weeks, 2 weeks is going by, still not on his diet. Yo, man, what happened to your diet? Well, and I'm convinced that is what happens. It's one thing to philosophize about training strategies and to, compare this philosophy versus another, argue about, how many grams versus how many grams is, but then there's something to be said for doing the damn thing. Just do it. Stop talking, stop trying to sound smart. You meet these people that want to engage you in these conversations and one-up the professional bodybuilder. I know more about nutrition. Dude, I'm not straight. I'm not where I'm at because I know more about nutrition than everybody else on the planet. In fact, I dare say that the top bodybuilding athletes that are on stage are not the man on stage, you can make it right here, because they know more about training science and nutrition than the average person sitting in the audience. A lot of times the difference between the person in the audience and the person that's on stage doing it is the use of the knowledge. So success is not based on genetics. It's not based on how nice this car is. It's not based on how pretty my face is, how small my nose may need to look, or, whether or not I'm the right complexion. I have an 8-inch scar down the side of my face, but I have a camera in front of me more often than not. Which just means that, if you work hard and your work is recognized, the sky's the limit. So for all those people out there that think they're ugly and everything, I'm gonna hold it down for you. But more importantly, you can still be a success. And for all those people that think, well, I'm too short, well, I'm gonna hold it down for you. And more importantly, you can still be a success. Find the things that you're excited about and that you can give your all and you can work really hard towards attaining it. String those days of efficient action together, and success can happen, even for you.